things that we are receiving and we are discussing, we just need to debate them soberly. Because if I want something, if I got 75% of the marks, let me give you an example, and somebody gave me 50% or 40%, and I insist that I got 75%. Remember that one, the results have been, and people have been awarded a degree. What happens when they found that they erred? Yeah. So, yeah, this is a better one.
I'm just playing a clip. You have asked if there's a group of people.
Yes, yeah.
Continue as the video is playing.
Yes, yeah. So that is what has been going on. Now, another thing I want to comment, what I agree with the Sang is that it is true that most people are so disparate to such an extent that hooligans are now taking advantage, particularly in Nairobi. Yeah, hooligans, thugs have taken opportunity, and we have seen them all over. You remember in 2007, it was the same story. Yeah, so it becomes very difficult to control 1 million people or 100,000 people and to try to isolate people are genuinely marching peacefully, and people are genuinely, and those rogues who are actually destroying property. So it becomes very difficult. The question is, why is it becoming difficult? I could be wrong, but I'm thinking is that the police are concentrating more on dispersing peaceful protesters, in my view, I could be wrong, than actually doing their role of protecting property. That's how I look at it. Yeah, and to me, the elephant in the room, I don't think it's even the cost of living. The elephant in the room is people are waking up to the reality that the right of votes was suppressed, and the only way the Ruto government would have done it, in my view, would be to try to legitimize it, and legitimize it can only happen if you go to IEBC, and that is open the server. Then in fact, that will sanitize a lot of things. You'll find that the temperature goes down, so people are able to see that no, he's right, he's wrong. What happens after that? You normally don't discuss that because it's a butterfly. Okay. Yeah, but that is the elephant in the room. So long as that one is not done, then there'll be continuous disruption going on, because then somebody believes, therefore, that I know you are not opening because you are hiding something inside. To me, that is the softest way to go. Yeah. The only thing that now we have in Kenya is that we don't have we have a loop-sided members of the church. If it was those days of Alexander Muge, we'd now be talking about something very, very different. But see, here the churches have taken sides, so it becomes it's like a mess. Yeah. Yeah, but I think we need to just be sober.
Go ahead. I'm just playing people looting.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a terrible one, but you see, nobody lives in a glass house. You know what I mean? Yeah, nobody lives in a glass house. But can I make something, just a disclaimer, which I've seen has affected me since this thing started. Personally, I don't like violence, and normally, if people argue, or people are even at the people route at the university, and that people want to get into violence, then normally I don't like it. But I've realized something, and you can correct me here. Every area has got a king, and my history tells me that never jeopardize, never frustrate a retired president. You saw what happens with the Chiluba when he was frustrating Kaunda. Things happened so badly, and Chiluba died so badly. You saw what happened in South Africa. We said that no, don't touch Zuma, because that is an institution. Okay, and you saw it almost collapsed the country in a very few days. So these are things that we need to look at very soberly, because you touch Ruto, those are the institutions. They have got a big following. You get a point. So the people are going to react. You touch Odinga, okay? That is an institution. He has got a big following. You expect, and that is what the old man was advising, that it just spark. Like now you see the way Chunga is talking, you throw bullet as if you are throwing to a chicken. You don't know the repercussion. And the repercussion can be moderate. Now the question therefore would be, what are you doing to protect the king? And that is what now brings a problem with the youth and the people who care. That these people want to kill the king. People want to kill the persons talking to us. So what do you do? And that is what now normally brings, you see things like bombing, people making funny things to kill people. Not because that is what they're supposed to do, but because the community has been profiled. And when they have been profiled, now they develop new ideas of how to protect themselves. And more importantly, how to protect the person that everybody is targeting. And that is what the old man was talking about, that it can result into chaos in the country. Yeah, so, yeah, that's my last comment. And I hope I've not stepped on anybody's toes, but I was just making a general comment. If I have, please forgive me for that, yeah.
Okay. Bushman, I'm almost coming back to you. I hope you're still there. I want to come to Sang.
Okay. Back to me first.
Sang amepotea. Bushman, there is a clip I want to play.
Okay,
and then I want to hear from you as well as Mr. Sang, you're back. Okay, let's first listen to Sang.
Yes, I think you need to be fair to me because
no, sorry, umepotea. I was giving you kapotea, but yeah,
it's like you know when somebody goes and comes back with a statement which is not right. Let him understand we are here to listen to each other. So now Mulumbu has left out of anger, and we are here to listen and to hear. So from all this, I have built courage to stay here, especially when I'm seeing all people supporting Raila here, and I think they think I'm pro-government. That's what they think. And when Peter talks like this, we are not profiling laws or whatever, but if at all Raila says today, the Luo nation have agreed to do this and this, they will accept, So it is like the other time when we were doing politics. Kina Junet came to Eldoret, a home of Ruto, and start hurling all abuses to Ruto. But did you hear any riot? Did you hear any abuse? Did you hear anybody raising a stone or whatever? So we have to agree there is need to be a maturity in this talk. For me, especially Bushman and Peter, Mulumbu, and those other guys, Daniel, they support Azimio, right? And when you support Azimio, does that mean this debate should be all of Azimio? Because when you play the clip of someone who was looted, Mulumbu did not even respond to that. he just escaped the whole thing and start attacking Ishungwa, Gachagua, and Ndindi Nyoro. Those people represent a constituency. Let's agree. And they represent some people. So what I'm saying is this: when we talk, let's be Kenyans. Let's leave siasa ya machafuko alone. I heard somebody saying a policeman is raping women. Hey, what time does that policeman to have to do a rape? What time? We are talking things were factual. When we said, Anyang' Nyong'o said, I am disbanding a demonstration that day, he was pressed to give in again to demonstration. And the following day, he tweeted that demonstrations were harmful. So we need to talk. We need to talk as Kenyans that demonstrations for now is bad. Looting is going on, and don't come here with abuses. Some of us, maybe you are talking to us and you don't know who we are. You know, Mulungu talk is like ni kama ameona kuna vita. Are you a Kenyan ndio useme ati sasa kuna vita? Vita gani? Why do you talk of vita? Kuna vita gani Kenya? Kenya is a mature country na hizo politics and whatever, hiyo ndio vitu tunataka kulainisha kwa hii Kenya.
Okay.
Usikuja na hasira. No. And I want you to calm the supporters of Raila. Waende chini kidogo. Na tufanye kazi.
Okay.
Don't incite people to come to street. Then after they have done what they have done, now you are blaming police. That's not right.
Okay.
And I'm urging Mulungu, as old as he is, vile anasema, wacha miaka yake iongee. Si ati unaongea outbusting. Somebody here was talking about dollars. That dollar is losing value in the world. Do you really understand what you are talking? I'm not in Kenya, and I'm not in America, but we are using dollars. And you are here in Kenya. You are saying dollars is losing value. How? So there is some sense, which when we talk, allow other people to talk. And if something is wrong, is wrong. If looting is wrong, it is wrong. And don't cast a policeman. Don't cast a policeman. Policeman does what he's supposed to do. What is raping? Raping policeman as a rep. How? So kama wewe ni Azimio na uko hapa, wewe tuliza boli bwana, tuliza. Serikali iko and serikali inafanya vile
serikali. We don't have a.
Now, what do you mean by saying you don't have a serikali? Wewe ndio uliapisha serikali? Serikali iliapishwa na the institutions waliapisha serikali, sio mimi ama wewe. Understand that? And Jex, I'm telling you, just moderate people to talk sense. Sio kusema hati hakuna serikali, hakuna haja. Hakuna haja.
serikali yenye iko ni yenye iliiba kura ndo ikakwamilia in power. That is what is trying to mean.
Sasa kama serikali kama tunakubali institutions yenye Raila anasema aliowania alitafuta, then ule mwenye aliapisha watu, does he hold anything in office? Does he have an office? So should we say we don't have government?
So, the government will just fail. You can unmute.
Okay. Bushman, I want to come to you, but before I come to you, there is this clip I'm playing, and I want you to answer me this question. By the end of the day, do you think that as much as we want the servers to be opened, as much as we want many other things to happen, do you think probably the underlying or the elephant in the room, after all is said and done, what probably the Azimio leader and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga could be yearning for is a constitutional change? Before you answer me, I want to play that clip so that you may help make sense of what I'm about to play. Because from what we are trying to find out is, after maandamano, after all these killings, all this destruction of property, what is the end game? I want you to listen to this clip and try to make sense of it.
Citizen and TV and KTN. All of them. All the guys who were on that.
Free and fair elections. It cannot be a transparent elections. Because either the 3 are right or the 4 are right. And we are justified in light of new evidence that has actually come to light. All we are trying to say is not that we are trying to reverse, but we want, for record purposes and for future elections, to ascertain exactly what happened. And we are entitled as citizens of this country to know exactly what happened. That's why we are demanding that the servers should be opened so that we see what is there. We will bring our experts. They can also bring their experts so that a forensic audit is done to the server so that any doubt is actually put to rest. This is all that we have said. And then we've also said that the 4 commissioners who were kicked out of the office need to be reinstated back, because you are actually ruining professions of 4 very innocent Kenyans. Go out to be poaching members of other party. Members of parliament who are elected on a particular party's or a coalition ticket must stick with the coalition to the life of that parliament. If they want to change sides and cross the aisle, they need to resign and go back to the electorate and get a fresh mandate. This is how democracies work. Held in all their constituencies. This is a must. And then, finally, we are saying that there are certain areas of our constitution which now need to be looked at. You remember we had the BBI, which was shot down by the Supreme Court, but it was not that BBI was relevant. It was because of a mere technicality. But the process. So that needs to be brought back to the table. So we are a very reasonable people. We believe we've got very valid reasons why we need to have a conversation. But in the absence of preparedness on the other side to cooperate, these demonstrations are going to continue.
I've seen Bushman amepotea, but Peter Chola, I posed that question to you. I'm sure you have had the clip. Now, Bushman is back. Bushman, that question was for you before I came to Ochola. I don't know if you have listened to the clip.
I've listened to the clip, sir.
Do you see as though after all is said and done, the thin line in all this is that we need a constitutional change?
Yeah, of course. You know what, Raila, I would say, in my own view, Raila is fighting for electoral justice. And he wants to end this culture of rigging elections after every 5 years. That's what he wants to end. And he feels the government is strawmanning all the institutions. Let's say, for example, it's strawmanning the judiciary, it is strawmanning the legislature, strawmanning the even the IBC. So what he's fighting for electoral justice. And if the servers will be open and the truth to be out to everyone, to the public, and if it comes out Ruto won fairly, freely and fairly, then we will have to abide by that. And if it comes out he didn't win freely and fairly, and we have to resort to another alternative.
Which alternative?
Exactly. Of course, it will give birth to the results that will come out from the servers will give birth to another alternative automatically.
Which one?
Because we feel the Supreme Court did injustice to us. So we will have to resort to another alternative. I cannot say
which alternative?
I cannot
alternative?
Listen. I cannot say this is, of course, if it comes out Raila won, then it means we have it. It's our victory.
So if that happens, does it mean now we revert? That's the solution you are talking about.
I'm saying if it happens so, then it means we won the election. If we won the election, it means Ruto is in power illegally.
So what about the systems?
And I'm very sure, I'm sufficiently sure that Ruto is not going to open servers because he knows he stole elections. That I'm sure, and you're sure about that. Okay. He's not going to open servers.
Okay.
Because he knows he stole an election.
I love how you have answered. Let me also pick Brainy Ochola on the same, so that Tusipoteze on the same. Do you think that the real issue here probably is the constitution? Before I come to Roba and Martinez, or sorry, Master Rats. Ochola, quickly. You have to unmute, sir. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Yes. BBI had a lot of good things. I would say had very good things, 75% very, very good things. It had its limitations in terms of the process, and the court actually pronounced itself. And yes, and I remember very, very well that there's a Mio team, and then Uhuru Kenyatta and his team, they accepted. But now, if you now recall what is going on this year, people now are regretting, particularly more importantly, the one man, one shilling. Get my point? They are really regretting, particularly the mountain, because actually you cannot actually distribute resources equally. Well, the population, one region has got a more population than the rest. So in one way or the other, BBI is being implemented in piecemeal. Even in the present regime, we see it being implemented in piecemeal. So to me, that is critical. Now, The last comment I want to make again, I don't know whether I have to go back to the issue of the server. I think we should not so much preempt what happens if the results prove otherwise. It's like a system. A system is a component of many other things. Remember, let me say, if your body is rotting and the only one part of the body has to be removed for you to survive, they remove it. But I do believe that a constitution is also a guide. Remember, these things are always amended based on circumstances. Like, let me give you an example. It will be very interesting to see that Raila won and Ruto lost. But Ruto constitutionally has been embedded, is actually the sitting president. You get my point? And we have seen that Kamusi Banda, okay, ruled, was there, and the other guy was beating him every time, and he ruled for them. Here we have our neighbor, Museveni, constitutionally. People can hide even behind the constitution. Constitution legitimizes the illegitimate. Constitution can also legitimize legitimacy. So the question would be, what will happen after they find that actually the 8.1 million they're talking about is correct?
Okay.
Alhamdulillah, and I put this with a lot of respect, is that there will always be what we call a happy median. A happy median is whereby people have to come to a compromise where everyone is happy for the sake of the country. There will be a happy median.
Okay.
And happy median, and I was just trying to answer what Sang said, that happy median is whereby now other institutions will be dismantled one way or the other. Get a point? To create a happy median. Yes, I'm saying
Let me ask you one thing.
Yeah, so the happy median, so institutions like now, you see, let me say, Ruto has formed the government. He has appointed people in parastatus. Yeah, so what happens if now Sang has won? Sang has won. So Sang will also say that, no, Peter, I beat you in this election. Okay? You are sitting on my seat. You got a point? Like what happened between Kibaki and Raila. You know the story. Okay? You see, so one has to swallow something. But the happy median, and I agree with Bushman, you don't need to predict what happens. But normally, these things happen when the and if you hear the clip, it's a very sober clip, in my view. I'm not taking sides, but that's a very sober. I didn't hear Raila issuing something that is very, very threatening. Is a very, very sober clip. To me, something that will be undemocratic is if you don't listen and if you don't accept that those who are aggrieved also want to be proved wrong or to be proved right, then you are also not democratic. That's my take.
Okay.
The clip is very sober. Yes.
Let me interject, Jax.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
These guys are saying we open servers, right? Then, what is the process of opening the server? Which institution will you go to request for that server to be opened? Will the server be opened in the street? This guy should just go to Supreme Court again and get that interpretation of how to open that server.
Kiprono, you didn't hear Raila saying they will form an expertise team from both parties, and they'll have to open the servers.
Then, if it's that's going to open, why take people to the street?
But Sang, if the president is not willing, how else will Raila go about it?
The president, we have constitution which is correct. We have judiciary, we have legislature, and we have the executive. each arm of government has to do its job.
Okay.
Ruto cannot open server. You have to go to open. You have go to GOAT, have that injection, get that server opened, and the results will be out.
Okay.
But don't take people to the street.
Okay.
And
Allow me to bring in Rob.
you have to allow me to be interjecting because all these guys are supporting Raila.
I will.
All these guys are supporting Raila.
I will.
Even you are supporting Ruto. We cannot go back to the Supreme Court whereby our grievances were not heard.
So if we are not going back to the Supreme Court, why are we having a government? Why do we have a constitution?
Okay.
Our constitution, our constitution is under attack, and nobody respects the constitution.
How is it under attack when all arms are working?
It is the president who attacked the constitution. He has been bribing these institutions.
Okay.
You know that.
Bushman, just one moment, Robert. Bushman, just one moment. Just one moment, Robert. Just give me 1 second. I see Daniel raising his hand. I don't know if it's a question or an interjection. Daniel, what is it?
It is not a question.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, Mr. Sang, tafadhali.
Yes.
Nataka tu tuelewane. In this platform, we are like brothers and sisters.
Correct.
Wakati wengine wenye wana support Azimio, you are against them, sindio? The same way we are against you because you are supporting the government. My question
I'm
is,
against the comments.
Relax. Are you a police officer? Because sahi kuna clips zimechezwa inaguza penye polisi wamefanya vibaya, and totally you are disagreeing with that. Even the looting which took place, huyo mwenye shop alipiga simu akilia vizuri sana, alipigia polisi simu wakuje wamsaidie. Polisi hawakukuja. Polisi wali concentrate tu kwa wenye wanafanya peaceful demonstration. So when you are supporting the government, support the government with facts. Don't support the government targeting the supporters of Azimio. So please,
Exactly.
Relax. Mr. Sang.
Yes.
Bado narudia.
Bushman and Daniel.
Yes.
If your point as well can be turned.
Yes.
Not that I'm speaking for Sang, so that I can be also fair. As well, when you are accusing the government, don't attack Sang directly. Just like you're asking not to attack the supporters. Also, don't attack him. Don't make him feel as if he's isolated or he's the only one, you know.
But lakini hapa wacha niendelee. So Kenya imefanyika Kenya hii kama sisi ni wana Kenya na tunataka maendeleo ifanyike vile tunajua vizuri. There is no country yenye inaweza kuwa na development kama kuna democracy. Hata kwa nyumba, hata kwa boma. Boma haiwezi endelea vizuri kama hakuna democracy. Democracy first, then development. Hii mambo ya kulia kila after 5 years of election, it must be stopped. Na hiyo ndio Raila is fighting for. Raila is not fighting for this ili akuwe president. Kama angekuwa anataka kuwa president, angekuwa 2007 na angekuwa 2013 na angekuwa 2017. What is Raila is fighting for is democracy. Hii mambo ya kupigana kila election must be stopped, and that's why I'm against Sang. Forgive me for that. Because we know what the truth is.
Daniel, nitakuja kwako na swali tu saa hizi. Nitakuja kwako na swali concerning what you have said. I'll come to you with a question. So stick around. I want to bring in Roba. Roba, you have been a staunch supporter of Azimio, and I love your stand. Okay, at times mi ucommute kwa sababu maybe unakuja na fujo sana, lakini najua unanielewa. I'm your brother. But now let me ask you, sir, with all that is happening, what's the best way forward?
Hey, thank
The
you.
best way forward.
Okay.
It's Roba.
Yeah, let me just give you my opinion. You know, sometimes we come here, we lie to ourselves. Let's talk the truth of the matter, and let's go to the bottom of what's happening in our country. Some of us, we come from communities where we know we will never produce a president forever. But at the same time, we cannot watch being abused by some cartels just trying to take our country to hell. This nonsense has to stop. And that's what happened during the last election. When I went in, I was neutral. I didn't care who wins. I wanted the people of Kenya win, the will of the people, because I believe democracy comes from the people. You don't force democracy on the people.
Okay.
And what happened in our country, election night, this something has been gone since maybe independence. And if somebody was asking what the problem is corruption. This problem is corruption. If we could have stood firm, people like Chebukati could have stood firm. I'm telling you, my friend, I know I'm connected, even if I'm not telling you the way I'm connected. I know what happened in this election. I have my answers. But what I'm saying is something has to happen. And this is what I believe. I believe if we don't get a solution on this election, the one we are right now, Kenya is going to hell. We will never be the same. People who run our country are cartels, more especially from two communities, okay? And these communities, I don't mean people who come from there are bad people. No, they even don't know. Here's this. Can you tell me if we had a commission called IBC, they never even be on the same page when these results were being announced? We had a divided house. When it's a divided house, we should go in and find out what happened. Now somebody's telling me, oh, whatever these institutions worked, there's no institutions in Kenya. What we have is useless, corrupt people who are just trying to benefit themselves. At this point, if I had my way, I could have just killed everybody, the so-called institutions. I start afresh. But I don't have that mandate and I don't have that power. But I can only put my voice on what should happen. What should happen is this. I'm sorry I'm not taking a little bit of time. At the end of this process, whereby, for me, I'm one person who wants, like, okay, because of the commissions being divided, open that server. We see what's in there. But I know what's in there. And my numbers matches from what Papa sent out today. And that tells you, Ruto never won election. Ruto never won election.
You see.
So what Ruto did was, my friend, keep wrong. I gave you time to speak. Let me speak. You can't shut me down. Okay?
I'm going to shut down because you are going back to the commissioners,
yes.
And the commissioners finished their job, and it was understood.
There were no commissioners. No.
Yeah, there were no commissioners. The only commissioners present.
Yeah, I'm not to listen. I'm a prophet. I'll never listen. That's a problem with me. Okay? Thank you. So the thing is this. Let's be sincere here. If we had a divided house, what the DCI and even the Supreme Court could have just done, they could have won in details if they wanted to solve our problem. At the end of the day, we have a generation, a country where we believe when you grow up, stealing is a failure. When you grow up, go work with the government, steal money, then you become a star. That's the kind of people we have in our country right now. And that's what happened with our election. People came in because they don't care. Election was stolen, nobody reported. and the commission did what it did, and we lost it. Now we are just like just like paka na panya sasa. Raila, Ruto. Raila, Ruto. Both sides are claiming victory.
Now, where is the proof that the elections was stolen?
What's that?
Where is the proof that the election was stolen? Because I remember.
Was stolen. Okay, how many commissioners do we have on IBC?
Let me just ask you one question.
How many commissioners?
Answer the question, Mama. Just answer that question. How many commissioners do we have in IBC?
How many?
7.
7. How many people said Ruto never won? 3.
They are not the ones who are determining who won or
let me tell you something. Our constitution says, so why okay, did you say they don't determine who wins?
And that's why that number is odd number.
Raila went to Supreme Court. He never complained that election was stolen.
What? So he went to Supreme Court to do what? Even he never complained the election was not stolen. What did he do? Why did he go to Supreme Court?
In every place he complained that they were stealing. They ordered to open the boxes. It was stolen. They confirmed, they counted, and it was the same.
Let me tell you something. Let me give credit to Ruto. He's very smart. He's a very smart crook. And that's what he did. He bought all these people from the beginning. And I can tell you, look at those numbers. I'm telling you, let's look at the numbers. Okay, if he never stole the election, bring the server. The server is there with the people of Kenya. We bought that server. We bought it. It's our money. Bring it. Let's open it. If Ruto won, Raila go home. As simple as that. But what I'm telling you, my friends,
how did you know?
As long as we don't end corruption in Kenya, nothing will ever progress. Our country.
Mr. Romba.
Yes.
Mr. Romba, please. Wacha, sikiza. Nataka Mr. Romba, nataka usikize.
You hijacked my time. Tafadhali, you hijacked my time. I didn't finish my speech.
Daniel, I had given you time.
You hijacked my time.
When I'm speaking, if somebody keeps on cutting, why can't I submit my thing? Then you can ask questions. You keep on cutting me.
Roba is the one. Roba, I'm defending you.
Okay, give me 1 or 2 minutes here. I finish and you guys can ask a question.
Just for a moment.
Yes.
Just for a moment. You are the one on the floor. I just want to make a communication. Yeah.
Right.
And someone also has asked you a question.
Yes.
And you equally also asked a question about how many members are there in the commission, and someone asked and answered you. They are 7.
Yes.
And you still continued, right?
Yes.
And you still said that Cherela 4 said who had won, right?
They never said who won. They said they never agreed with the results. So let's not be kid ourselves. Let's be sincere when we say
yes. Exactly. Now, what you have said is correct, and that's what I wanted us to agree.
Yes.
They never said who had won.
No.
And
no.
Actually, they did us a mistake, or rather, we should fault them for not telling us who had won. I want to play what
another
they
thing.
said.
I disagree.
Just a moment.
They should not go back because they resigned. If you resigned, you cannot go back.
There you don't agree with Baba?
No, that one I don't.
Okay. Now I want us to play what they said that day, so that we can put to rest that issue of, is it okay, Roba?
I know what they say.
Okay.
I know what they say.
Okay.
But what I
give you a minute to summarize.
Yes.
So
what I'm saying is,
can have Sang coming in.
Instead of us, our country, what's there what's that serve? That serve is part of the equipment which was used for election. Bring it, open it, let's see what's in there. If Papa won, Ruto, get out. First of all, if that's the case, you have to go to jail. You have to go to jail.
What is this guy talking about?
Who have been causing problems in our country. If nobody's above the law, nobody's above the law. If it happens that they leak the election, Chebukati should be hanged. Ruto should be hanged as far as yesterday. And that's my recommendation.
No.
Okay. Can I have Sang respond?
If you are a Kenyan living outside the country, know that we need a government. If you are saying Ruto should be hanged, who are you to hang Ruto?
No,
And I'm saying this.
I said if I had my powers.
Yes, and if you don't have any power.
No, I don't
you don't have any
our
power.
constitution does not
And here you are saying you have a proof how Raila won the election. How do you know?
Do I know?
How do you know?
Look the numbers.
How do you prove the numbers? Are you IBC? That's where Kenya is lost. That's where Kenya is lost.
Here's the problem. When you are a man who thinks that because you are man, you are the most people. The people who support somebody because you come from your tribe, you are the most doomed people who are dooming our country. So
yes. And I believe this. I believe this. I believe this.
I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? They had to come and dispute the numbers which are forwarded.
Roba, you are not fair. You are not a Kenyan.
There's a question.
Everybody fair. You got to be fair. Roba, you are not fair. You are not a Kenyan.
What's that?
Roba, there's a question I've been asked.
Let me tell something.
Just one moment, Roba.
If you feel I come to kiss you and I will just hit you like hell.
He will run away. This guy comes to here to say things which are irrelevant. I mean, he will not answer very simple questions.
But
and why do you mayor say something?
You think if I'm not born a Kikuyu, you are born a Karenjin, you are not a Kenyan because you have been
because you are talking, you are saying.
I want you to listen. Roba, I want you to listen. There's a question I've been asked, which I feel you didn't answer. And I wish you answer the question. And please don't attack the person. Answer the question. The question was from Sang, which is a pertinent question. He has asked you. You say correctly that you have the numbers.
Yes.
So how can you authenticate your numbers? One, he has asked you are not IEBC. So how do we prove that what you have? Because everyone here can come and claim they have the numbers.
Fine. That's fine.
How can you prove you have your numbers? Or are you the whistleblower? Probably.
Thank you. Let me answer you that question. First of all, IBC works for us.
Okay.
Second of all, those numbers are in public.
Okay.
So what do you do if you really want to find out the truth? Get the numbers, compare the figures you have, get your sources, and do what? From there, keep going. But what I want is the
what sources are those ones?
Put forward right now from the other side. I don't mean those numbers.
What are the sources?
What's that?
What are the sources you're talking about?
No, I know. I'll never give you my sources. I know where my sources I get it from. Okay.
But how will we trust you?
If you don't trust me, that's fine. That's why I say you don't trust me. The same thing we have now in our country. We don't trust one another. So do you know what we do? The server which we paid for, bring it here. Let us get experts. If Papa won, come on. If Ruto won, continue. As simple as that, we can't go with all this nonsense. Every 5 years. We can't go this. And if we never solve this problem,
Roba, what you're saying is correct. But let me ask you, we are not a banana republic. We are a country that
we are right now. We are a banana republic.
Country.
We have a constitution. We have a constitution.
No.
Now, I don't know which law that allows us to have observers peruse through a server and authenticate results, other than what the Supreme Court tried to do during the case. So I don't know which law will we be using to try to open the servers, number one, to verify what is in the servers.
You don't need a law to open the
servers. Who will qualify the observers? Who is that either the constitution or any law in the land has permitted to be the one to referee these servers months after the elections had taken place?
They had to go back to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ordered they should be given a server should be open. You know what those guys, they argue, they say they have corporate rights or something like that. It can't be open. But to stand from there was time shortage and other things. But remember, that was that cross where they requested for that. Let me tell you something, you guys. If we keep on just doing things that every 5 years we have to come and do this, then we don't have a country. And that's the truth. We don't have a country.
But you have not answered our question.
Bottom of this. Let us go to the bottom of this.
Okay.
Let us go to the bottom of it. Those are equipment which are being used with us. We can't have a situation where that we use machines or things, equipment, and we can't do a verification. Then we are a banana republic.
Okay. I've heard you, even though you have refused to answer my question.
No, I answered your question. Your question, I didn't answer it. So you said which law we follow? We go back to the Supreme Court. Let's go back.
Okay, I hear you. I know people still have questions to you, but allow me not to have you kidogo so that those who have joined
That's
in.
fine. That's why I'm on to mute. I'm on to mute, but if somebody wants to ask me a question or to attack me, you are free to ask. But let me also tell somebody, I will never come here and tell a fellow Kenyan is not a Kenyan. That's the highest. That's like abusing me. Let's not go there.
You are a Kenyan, and
Robert, I told you, my parents were born in Kisii. I went to Alliance High School. Then from there, I went wherever I went. I've helped. I'm a premier. I've helped a lot of people. We have employed a lot of people on the ground. I contribute my taxes, so nobody can tell me I'm not a Kenyan. But what I disagree is,
that's why you're live on Mutembei. That's why you're live on Mutembei, because we appreciate
you. Are a Kenyan.
You are a Kenyan, eh?
Okay. You are a Kenyan.
Okay, thank you so much for being part of us, Roba. Now, Brother Benson, I see you. Master Rataz, I see you. Now, Master came before Brother Benson. Master dropped, came back. Now, I don't know. Between Bro and Master, who comes first? Bro, Master, whoever. Okay, Bro.
Master anaweza enda. Mimi niko sina shida nayo.
Okay, Master come.
Hello, guys.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, go ahead. I don't know if you can be able to share your camera, but it's okay.
Yeah, because I don't have sufficient light. Okay. So I don't think that's why I've muted off the camera.
It's okay.
Or maybe I can try to. Let me see. But as I continue, yeah. So I just want to make a few contributions.
Okay.
In regards to what is going on in the country. For me, the questions that the one important and imperative question that we need to ask ourselves is, what is the role of government in all this? If we have a legitimate government, then we would be seeing a high level, because this is a government that prides itself of high level legitimacy. But what happens with the demonstration, we see it's kind of the government has isolated a certain part of this country and reduced it to, I don't know, okay, it's like the government doesn't regard these people who are coming out to demonstrate, because the constitution allows for this demonstration to happen, and we see how the police is responding. The police is kind of trying to restrict, or the government is trying to restrict people from exercising these rights. And and ideally, what the government should actually do is to protect property. I see people saying, oh, you are going to the street, you are going to be killed. And the question people don't want to answer is, who is killing people on the street? Is it that the demonstrators are killing each other, or is it the police that is killing people? Is it when Raila calls for demonstration and the government go killing people, do we blame Raila or do we blame the government? When property is distracted, property is destroyed, do we blame the demonstrators or do we blame the government? Because the government is supposed to provide for security for demonstrators and those who are not demonstrating. Because we understand the rights. Everybody, a demonstrator has a right. The person who doesn't demonstrate also have a right. So the government should come in between these two people. The government should ensure that the person who doesn't want to demonstrate is secure and the person who is demonstrating is allowed to demonstrate. But you have a situation where the government doesn't want to do that. And we still, who do we want to blame? We want to blame Raila. Raila doesn't control the government. We, the taxpayers, we pay money to the government. The government to do it. We don't pay demonstrators to protect themselves or to protect property. It's the government that we pay to protect those property. So the government should come in, allow people to demonstrate. The government should ensure, because the right to demonstration is a right enshrined in the constitution. Yani, it's a right that you don't give yourself. The right is not being given to you. It's a right by virtue of being a Kenyan. You just automatically have that right. It can't be taken away from you. But you have a situation where the police, the IG, want to take that right away. The CS for Interior is taking that right away, and nobody's talking about it. Who gives these people? It's unconstitutional to take somebody's right away. Right to demonstrate, picket, and everything are rights nobody can take away from you. So anybody who proposes to take that right away is there unconstitutionally, is illegitimate, and should be dealt. In fact, I don't understand. These people should not. You are not supposed to. These people shouldn't even be anywhere close to power and purport that you have the rights to stop people from exercising their. Who are you? You see, these are some of the things that makes us believe that this country is becoming banana. If Ruto is the president of this country and he won legitimately, then he shouldn't be part of the problem where in fact, we know this Ruto needs to support this constitution, but now he's in that place courtesy of this constitution. Then he should tell his ministers that there's nowhere in this world that you can take away the right of people to demonstrate. So this, I'm pissed off because I don't understand why do these people think that they are larger than life? You're taking somebody's right away, and you don't want to take responsibility for anything. Okay, on these demos, the responsibility of anything lies with the government. We pay them, the president to the security men. These people, we pay them to do that. We don't pay demonstrators. In fact, demonstrators just go there to express themselves. You are allowed to, even in this platform, you're giving us a chance to actually express ourselves. But do we pay you to do that? No, you are doing it because the space is there. So we have this space. The government should, in fact, anything that happens on the demos should be blamed squarely on the government because the people we pay. On the elections, okay, I personally took part as an official in that election. And from the observation, because when we went for this training and this this catch-up stuff for these elections, we could feel there was something amiss. There was a plan that had been put in place. We could feel it and we could see it. We only saw it emerge after when the results were being announced. That's because you see, during I don't know why the Supreme Court ignored this important fact during the case. I can remember the 15 sampled polling stations. Almost 90% of those polling stations had the use of the book 2 of 2 for Form 34A. And I remember earlier Chebukati had announced that the book 2 of 2 will not be used. But the IBC decided to send book 2 of 2 out and also send book 1 of 2 to the polling station, such that this book 2 of 2 and book 1 of 2 could be used to alter the results. So you find at the polling station, the agents of Azimio have signed book 1 of 2, which was supposed to be signed. But if you go to when you open the box, you find there book 2 of 2, and you are being told the result in book 2 of 2 is telling what is in the portal, and the book 1 of 2 that Azimio is produced is being declared as fake. Yet Tupikon is not asking the IBC, if you say that book 2 of 2 was not supposed to be used, why is it that it is what is there in the box that were in the 15? What is it? Why is it that is the one that is there? And the IBC not produce an unused copy of book 1 of 2 in the cases where book 2 of 2 was found to have been used. You see how that result was altered. So Chebukati sent book 1 of 2, book 2 of 2, so that the result could be, they could get the result from the book 1 of 2, alter those results and ensure that the book 2 of 2 that they have now used to alter the result is what is posted in the server. So the Azimio guys come with their book 1 of 2, which was duly supposed to be used, and it is being declared as fake, yet it has all the security that IBC had produced. And this is a very vital evidence that Supreme Court, in fact, you can go back to the Supreme Court and watch the 15 polling stations that were sampled, you'll see almost all of them had book 2 of 2 used. Book 1 of 2 that was not used for these cases was never produced, and the Supreme Court ignored this thing. On the cases of opening the server, if we decide to open the server today and find that, of course, the server can't be opened because the results that are there are obvious. We have an active Supreme Court order for the server to be opened. So there's no need of going back to the Supreme Court. The order is there. It's only that the compliance, that order was never complied with. And yet the Supreme Court decided to ignore their own orders. So for now, Raila is pushing for that active order to take place. We want to, in fact, this is a God-fearing guy. The government is actually, this is a prayerful government. They've been praying. We are employing 100 intercessors. We have prayed for the rains have come and what have you. We have virtually prayed for everything. In fact, every Sunday we go to church. And why is it that something small as opening the servers is so difficult? Yani, when it comes to opening the server, it's like always opening the server is taking us back to the devil or what? So I think the servers, if this government is legitimately, if it won fairly and square, then opening the server shouldn't be a problem for them. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Asante sana kwa maoni yako. Na kabla sijamleta ndugu brother Benson.
Hello?
Okay. Okay. Brother Benson, I want to bring in a very different form of conversation. And if you have a soft stomach, please, the next video is not for you. Brother Benson, please come in after this video. This video took place so many years back, and slowly but sure, it's like we have forgotten where we are coming from. I want you to comment on this video quickly. Let me play it. And as you're looking at it, it's not a good video, people. And I pray that you can be able to bear with me as I play the video. It's a bad video. Just one moment. Just one moment. And it really brings out a lot. So as I'm playing it, just one moment, I'm about to get it. Okay. But before I get it, let me play this one first.
And it is an agenda I will not. Sisimami, hii tunaendelea naye. And I really believe I have a partner, in Raila who believes, right? Yeye ni mtu ya ODM, mimi ni mtu ya Jubilee, right? But on this issue, tumeamua ya kwamba Wakenya hawatapigana tena, na lazima tutatafuta njia ya vile tutafanya siasa zetu, right, kama taifa, bila kugawanya Wakenya na bila kuwa na society ambaye imewacha wengine. On that one, he is my partner na tuna drive hii.
Okay.
Na hiyo nimemaliza.
Thank you.
Semeni sasa.
Your Excellency, recently in Kisumu, you said we must examine what you're talking about.
Okay, sorry. Let me begin the video. He's saying never again.
As well, who we are trying to bring on board. And it is an agenda I will not. Sisimami, hii tunaendelea naye. And I really believe I have a partner, in Raila who believes, right? Yeye ni mtu ya ODM, mimi ni mtu ya Jubilee, right? But on this issue, tumeamua ya kwamba Wakenya hawatapigana tena, na lazima tutatafuta njia ya vile tutafanya siasa zetu, right, kama taifa, bila kugawanya
wa Kenya na bila kuwa na society ambaye imewacha wengine. On that one, he is my partner na tuna drive hii.
Okay.
Na hiyo nimemaliza.
Thank you.
Semeni sasa.
Your Excellency, recently in Kisumu, you said we must examine. It's what you're talking about. We must
Hey, Jex.
Brother Benson, after such, what comes to your heart?
What do you want me to say? You know, what do you want me to say there? Unajua hapo wako wawili na saizi hao ndio watu wanapigana.
Exactly.
Yeah, unajua. Na kitu ambacho mimi huwa saa zingine nashindwa kwa sababu mimi I know the price of peace. Like when peace has been tampered with, that is the result of it. It doesn't care. It doesn't care whether you're a kid or you're what age are you. It takes you all. Peace, when the peace is destabilized, it doesn't have sympathy. It takes everybody, including even a 3-year-old, you know. And like when you look at that, it reminds me of 2007 because I was in Kisumu by then, you know, and I know how we felt, especially by then I was living in Nyalenda those days, you know. Those were some areas that were affected. So when you look at those, there are two leaders who are there. And now they're the people who are who are in the leadership right now. So, and like even sometimes if we listen here in this panel where we are, we kind of like show how our tribe thrive or how people we support are, even if they are wrong. If somebody talks of somebody who was supporting, even if he's wrong, you see the tempers are rising up, you know, and it tells you the kind of a country we have. What we are exhibiting here, that is what Kenya is. You know, that is what even like those who are going on demonstration, that is how they feel. The way you see if we debate here and that anger rises, that's how it feels over there at home, you know. And it reaches a point whereby we can call somebody that is not a Kenyan, you know. It is unfortunate, you know, if we can disagree on the ideas that we have, but a point at which you call somebody, you are not a Kenyan. If he was not a Kenyan, he should not be in Mutembei TV, because this is what unites Kenyans. So sometimes we have to be very, very, very cautious on what we say. You know, I want to agree with Roba on one thing about the institutions, the commission. There's nothing that maandamano and everything will be done. But if the body that conducts the election is not doing it with free and fairness, I tell you, the country will be a cycle. It will be a cycle. Because what brings about this is the cartels that we have, whereby everything that we do, we've normalized corruption in Kenya, whereby we buy, and there's a price tag for everything that we do, especially in the commission. Even in kind of like in an open society, this is the body that is in charge of conducting election, and they're not agreeing. What is that recipe for? So I said that yesterday, and I will say it today. The commissioners that were there in the IBC, they failed Kenyans terribly because they were serving at the mercies of their masters. They were not serving Kenyan people. If there were very, very few people who say that they want to serve Kenyans, they could have done the due diligence and make the votes for every Kenya who voted counts. But since the Cherera 4, if you look at the Cherera 4 were for the Azimio, the remaining one were for the Kenya Kwanza. You know. Yeah. So where will we know where the truth is? Because if you listen to the Cherera, she said the results are going to be announced, but they don't agree with the results. That's what I heard. You know. And you saw how people took side to the extent of even Chebukati saying how were they the intelligence who came to him to overturn the election. You know, so which means the votes that the Kenyan voted did not count because there was a price tag for the presidency. And these are some of the things that as a country, if we want to solve this, you know, we should go here and bring people who are the people who will put Kenya first, the interest of the country first, not the people who will put the masters. But if it is the way it is even today, after 5 years, the same thing will happen. Even if Raila has died, somebody will have to come with this Maandamano thing. You know, it is something that is going to be there. Another thing, everybody is talking about constitution, like they're saying like Raila is not obeying constitution. This constitution that you are saying here, it has been mutilated so many times. They've not even looked at everywhere. Even the Azimio, the people in government, they've not followed the constitution that you are saying here. It tells you how truthful we are not. We are not very truthful to our country. We only follow the constitution when it serves us. When it serves us, then we follow it. When it doesn't, we don't follow it. We are talking about the constitution here. Look at the way even like the deputy president is talking. I'm not supporting Azimio. The way, the words that he says. If you're somebody who is a very intellectual person, yeah, this government, he talks like the government is only for two people. It's only for the Kalenjins and Kikuyus, which is not, should not be the case. Yeah, when he's the deputy president, is a symbol of unity. Is a deputy president for everybody. That's not like the words that should come from a deputy president. Let us take our tribes out of us and put on that Kenyan government and talks on ways that we can prosper. We are talking about constitution. We see how MPs are being bought left, right, center. How money plays in the parliament. How money plays in the it doesn't serve us as the common man. It doesn't. Yeah. So there are some of the things that we've normalized, you know. Yeah. Somewhere, the Cherera 4 who resigned, those people should not even come to the commission. Yeah. Let us just be very sincere. You've resigned. What are you going to do in the commission? If we indeed we are people who obey our laws, the constitution of our land, you know. So those are some of the things that we should look at. Like, if we can solve election injustice in the country, we will be good. If we can stop the normalization of price tag to the election or anything that we do, we buy with money, the country is going to be good. But all these questions, like you say, open server, do what, those are things that will be here and Maandamano will come and go. But if we don't solve this, you will agree with me that if this one is solved, whereby if somebody loses in an election, we celebrate the lose as a country. And if somebody wins, we celebrate the win as a country. But in a situation whereby like a country is divided, a part of the country is celebrating, half of the country is not celebrating, that's not a country. Yeah.
Okay. I see, Roba, you're raising your hand. 1 minute, then I come to Sang, 1 minute, and alafu nipe wenye bado hajaongea.
Let me talk to Brother Benson. 207. I was not far from where you were. I was in Brilliant. You remember Brilliant near Makasembo, that area near the stadium. And the following day, I ended up getting myself at Condera Police Station, where I was taken by the military there. I'm telling you, the following day, I found myself back home. But I want to tell you one thing. The people of Kisumu, the community of the rural people, they never killed nobody. Instead, we were on stations where they brought people from Rift Valley, people from Central, they brought them to the station because they feared for their lives. And I thank them for what they did. I was responding to that your tip. One thing, let me agree with you. The Cherera 4, done case, get out of here. We move on. That one, I agree with you. Let's go to the bottom of this. If we don't solve this problem, if we don't, we don't have a country. We don't have a country. At the end of the day, I'm about to finish. This is what I believe. A country like ours for 61 years, which cannot even produce a private sector, it's not going to survive. If we continue doing what we are doing right now, we are going to collapse. This economy is going to collapse. Do you know why? We are a country where we depend. If you are going to work, the government go and steal. And I believe, I don't have evidence, but I believe the rooting now going on right now, which tells me there's a lot of rooting, and that's what I'm hearing. You know what it tells me? The economy, you see, it will never change. It's not going to change. It's not going to change. As long as we keep on doing what we are doing. Why are we taking our kids, our young people to school? Why? If we can't provide them employment. We are a country where we have these useless minds who have been there for all this time. They even don't know how to produce a private sector job. They keep on telling me, oh, we are going to get some companies from outside the country. Those companies from outside the country, somewhere started them. Let's start our own things. Let's start our own companies. Let's go private sector and produce jobs for our people. Maybe we will start ending corruption in our country. If we keep on doing what we are doing, hell, we are doomed. Thank you.
Sang?
Thank you for that time. And I apologize for calling Roba is not a Kenyan. And I just said that because I just felt there is, you know, when we have a government, we need to agree we have a government. If you don't agree, then what is that? So I just talk about that because I believe we have a government. And from the views of many of you people here, sometimes I could laugh. Sometimes I could laugh how we transact our discussion, our conversation. There's a Master Roots who says he worked for IBC, and I just laughed when he tried to describe how the votes were the case was being handled, and it is laughable because whatever he's describing here was elaborately explained by lawyers in Supreme Court. And if we don't have to believe in systems, which we have, then I agree we don't have a Kenya. But if there is still systems working, we have a Kenya. And from the spectrum of how we discuss things here, we discuss theories, but practically we don't know. We know there are things which are not practicable. Like when you discuss about Cherera and IBC commissioners, they finish their job, they have left the job, and they are gone. The system is working. Like new commissioners are applying. So there is a system working in Kenya. We don't have to disagree everything with what the government is doing. Most of us, uh, I just believe I don't need to align myself to a certain person so that you can agree with me. Don't align yourself to a person until hata facts yenyewe utaki kusikia. All of us here, including Jax, we don't know the background of each and every person here. And when you hear me speaking, I can elaborate how I am, but in real sense, ukiambia mtu ako hivi, huwezi kubali. So let's have a level ground. Let's have a level ground. Well, umesema vizuri Benson, wale wenye walikuwa wameenda 2007, it is Raila and Ruto who were there. And who knows, after kunichukia hapa kwa social media, Raila na Ruto watasalimiana ama wasikose kusalimiana. But are we not Kenyans? Mimi kama umefanya kazi na watu wengi, you work with Kisii, you work with Kikuyu, you work with Luos and everybody. Na hatuwezi chukiana mahali at our workplace. We can't. But here on social media, we bring IBC, Cherera, Uhuru supported Raila, and I don't know mahali wizi ilipatikana ya kura ni wapi, kwa sababu Ruto hakuwa na serikali. Nani alikuwa na serikali? Nani alikuwa na systems?
Now, brother, you are contradicting yourself.
Let's say, not elaborated.
That's, you know what you just said. Kama kulikuwa na wizi, let's go at the bottom of it. Let's know that there was not. We don't have. If there was, don't say there was because you don't have. You know what? Here's the thing. Remember, you were talking about an institution. Some people, we say IBC was an independent institution. And because of that freedom they were given by the Kenyan people, they took advantage and the election was stolen. If they say that, then we should investigate it.
Who stole election? Something like this, Something like this. I can say the election was stolen, and you can say the election was not stolen. How can you prove? The only proof. The only proof.
The IBC portal. Let me tell you, I can prove it. Let me tell you one thing.
My friend.
You look at the IBC portal, and I'm looking some results from what came in, and some other results now for the second thing. I can tell you, Meru, the area of Meru's places, there was a lot of rigging going on there. You know, I'm telling you, why can't we have to be sober? Because if you are bringing this one here, also agree. If there was an election stolen, we have to go to the bottom of it.
And when the election was stolen, or not stolen, and it was agreed that the election results was announced, and Raila did not agree. They went to the court, which is stipulated in the constitution. We have constitution working.
Do you know what happened?
Then you know what? Let me finish. We have a process. We have a process of electing leaders. we have a process of announcing elections. If at all we need to disband everything, then where can we go? Like Kenya is not satisfied with anything. Like we need to live. We need to earn a living. Wherever you are working, earn a living. Don't be going back to IBC, judiciary, constitution has been mutilated. Those things we have to agree. The government is there, and whether we jump or do what, the government is working. The government is there, installed by the constitution of Kenya. When the president, when you say Raila said, I don't agree, Ruto is the president. Is that being a Kenyan?
Mr. Sir, let me tell you one thing. The first thing, I'm sorry for that against panels. I'm sorry. Let me tell you, the one thing, first of all, these people brought all this hell on themselves. Some of us, we had given them even some, just like, okay, we know, just let's see how you govern the country. They are given that chance. They provoked Raila. They started abusing everybody. They started campaigning more. They started using some fun words. They provoked everybody. If these people could have won under and say, you know what, now we are taking over the country, let's unite the country. They never did that. And more especially when it comes to the vice president, the so-called fake vice president, is the worst man. That man cannot even be my chief.
Let me tell you, Roba, let me tell you, whatever we say, even if he's a rock president, a rock deputy president or what, he is a deputy president of Kenya. Never deny that. Installed by the constitution. We can brag around everything we talk.
Yeah, but you see, you are not answering my question. You see, the problem is you are not answering the question. Our question is what Benson brought up and what I'm bringing up. We have a man who is the so-called president who has been installed by the so-called corrupt constitution now, because the constitution is working for some people. Is instead of following what we are supposed to do, first of all, he wants to assassinate Raila, and he has just said it, and he's not hiding. Second of all, he goes there, he's all over the press, and you know what he said, what pissed me off, we remember during the campaigns, he said very clearly that Uhuru, there are some things Uhuru was supposed to go to central Kenya, he took it to Nyanza. That man, so-called the vice president we are talking about, you know what? Why can't we also have a Kisi president and a Ruo president or a Teso president? Then we complain. We are complaining because these two communities, they have been leading our country, but we have been seeing hell. And that's the problem where the problem is. I come from the place where I come from. We are divided government. My MP is Kenya Kwanza. My MP is Kenya Kwanza, by the way. Okay? We have divided government. We have divided government. But we have lived together. I know I've seen a situation where my mom fought for somebody else, my dad fought for somebody else, but we move on. But we have some people, some community who believes that certain people that only want to rule the country somewhere else. And that has to stop.
Baseline. Let me agree with you. But the baseline, the only thing that guides us is the rule of law, the Constitution of Kenya. Constitution of Kenya has not said you elect a Kikuyu or a Kalenjin or a Luo president. It does not say that.
So Ruto never chose a Kisi to be a vice president. How?
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, Roba and Sang. Can I just interject a bit? Barigani Robert and Kipsang, Peter, and Geoffrey, and the panelists and all the panelists who are here. Benson, nice to see you. Now, we are talking something that is very, very important. Why do we have a Kalenjin and a Kikuyu presidency, the ping pong game? That is something that is going to happen for a long time. And unless we get our acts together, this game might go on, because look at the statistics and the data of the tribes. If we vote going by the number of people in your community and versus the number of people in the Kisii community, because Kenya is a tribal country. Everybody is voting on tribal lines. A few of us are not tribalistic. A few, maybe a 0.001% of the population is not tribal. That is why when you see Matiang'i in trouble, Roba is also feeling like he's also in trouble. His community has been affected. When Ruto is in trouble, Sang is also feeling like one of their own has been touched, even if they're on the wrong path. But if the presidency of the Republic of Kenya is going to be elected on merit, merit means that the policies that you're putting forward to the people of Kenya to elect you are good for them, then so be it. But are we in the right trajectory? Maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe yes, maybe no. All these teething problems that we are having today, the Kisii community have realized that, hey, this game can go on for so long. Maybe the Luo communities realized it a long, long time ago. But communities, a community in Kenya, like the Luo community, cannot get the presidency unless they unite with another community.
I disagree.
Another larger community.
I disagree. Raila Odinga won 2007 election. You have to agree with me. He won the 2007 election.
Yes. Listen, the dynamics of politics are changing by each and every day. In 2017, Raila predicted that he was going to lose the election. Do you know that? He predicted that he was going to lose the elections.
According to Uhuru Kenyatta,
you know that? In 2017.
Yeah, Uhuru Kenyatta told us Raila won.
Yes, so some of these things, because we are all tribal, we come from a tribe, and we vote for one of our own, then look at the numbers, look at the population. Unless you have a very, very good policy like Raila Odinga that cuts across the community, then probably somebody from your community might never be the president of the Republic of Kenya. Sad to say, that is where we are heading. Even if you mention the Supreme Court 100 times, or you mention justice 1,000,000 times, but Kenya is a tribal country. So how do we use tribe to benefit or to democratize our country? Because we are all tribal. But how do we use tribe? Let us respect the institutions that are available, and let us respect the rule of law. You have talked about the issue of the server. You know very well where this thing is heading. Not that you don't know, Mr. Robert, I want to address you. Not that you don't know where this thing is heading. You know pretty well where we are heading with these stories. You know why there's no demonstration in Kisii? Why is there no demonstration in Kisii where you come from?
Okay, let me tell you, and that's why I said when you say that every tribe, they further according to the tribes, I would tell you one thing. Where I come from, we are not tribal. We treat everybody there. That's where we have every party where I come from, my community, and I'm proud of them. what do? We are the most democratic people in Kenya. If all people would vote the way we fought, then Kenya will be a democratic country. But
thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert. Is Raila Amolo Odinga democratic from where he comes from?
What's that?
You heard my question. Is Raila Odinga democratic and his party ODM, is it democratic?
So I don't know about when you say Raila Odinga is democratic. Raila Odinga is the most...
This is a very, very simple question.
Yes,
is Raila
Odinga
a democratic leader?
Raila
does he conduct in his party? Does he conduct a democratic nomination?
And that's why I told you, Kisi, you don't believe on the parties. We believe on a person, not a party. Because most of those parties are...
Thank you. You have answered part of the question.
Yes.
So people who are differing with Raila politically have got a right to differ with him politically. Of course, that is within their democratic right, yeah?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. So if somebody is differing with the political leader, then it is within their democratic right. And Kisi, being neighbors to the Luos, who, as late as yesterday, cannot accept any other political party, and they went as far as banning UDA and all that. What do you say about that? UDA offices.
I don't know anything. I don't have evidence about it, but what I know is...
Did you just say you don't have any evidence about it?
No,
or what are you trying to say?
I don't know what might have happened or what...
You don't know that UDA use offices were burnt in Kisumu and Siaya?
It's possible. Maybe it can be possible. The same people from UTA can ban it and they say it's not about it.
No.
Yeah, you know,
that is where we are. You know, when you are faced with reality,
don't deny facts.
Let me tell you something. It's very bad if you think that when you hear the other person has different views. Like, I love Raila because of what I believe in him. I love him that. I don't hate Ruto. Ruto was once ODM, but the problem is when somebody like me, when I know you have done this and that, you have been a vice president for 10 years, then you come and deny you are not a president. I mean a vice president because Raila was the vice president. You are lying to me. I don't like people who lie. I want people who tell me the truth. That's me. And whatever you're telling me about Imambo Yakisumu, let's get, whenever we come here or when we have evidence, when we have the numbers, or when someone did it, then we can say, this is what happened. And I like that. But when you lie, I don't like it.
Mzalendo, I like the way Roba is trying to skip the question.
I know how he escapes this question, and at the end of the day,
Mzalendo.
Can I ask something?
Then you can go.
Can I ask?
Yes. Who is
That's Peter.
Oh, sorry, people. I was on a call.
Yeah, this is Peter Ochola.
Peter, you can go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I think soberly enough, I would support Roba because we know the trend of politics in Kenya since the 90s. We saw this in 2013. We saw this in 2017. And if you are true to your word, you can still go back and watch even what Sonko was talking about. There's no evidence enough to pin that those banning of those offices that Malala keeps on rapping about was done by the locals. You got a point? There's no evidence.
But it was banned.
All right. Okay, guys.
Son, we are talking about the banned offices.
Just one moment.
Not that it was not. It was banned.
Yes, we were talking about democracy that is associated with Raila Odinga. the banning of UDA officers, yes, I agree with you. Maybe the government organized the banning. But do you know what happened to Tom Ojenda yesterday? Do you know what Baba has been saying about people like Jalang? Do you know what he has been saying about Owalo? Do you know what he has been saying about people who have gone against him, like people like Kidero? Were they within their democratic right?
Mzalendo, just one moment. Martinez, is it Master and Peter Ochola? Please, unless I've assigned it, don't unmute. Because of the echo, please don't unmute. So if it is your turn, I'll unmute it for you, because ukiunmute kunakuwa na echo. And then allow me to apologize kwa watu wa Facebook. I'm refreshing it for you kwa sababu we have done 8 hours, and sorry for that. We are coming just right now. I'll refreshen that for you. But thank you for tuning in and participating in this lovely show. Okay. Now, kidogo too, I want to come to the people who haven't spoken. And Mise has a question for Roba.
There's a question also from Zalendo.
Okay. Allow me to begin with Mise, and then after Roba answers what Mise will be asking, I'll have Simba Natea. But before Simba Natea, Benson will ask the question to Mzalendo. But thank you everyone who is tuning in. We have many tuning in. I'm rectifying what happened to Facebook just now. So, Mise, come in.
Thank you, Jex. Sir Jex. Geoffrey, Simbanetaya, Master Rats, Mr. Brother Benson, and Mzalendo. As usual, I start by thanking you for creating time so that we can come and have this discussion. It is important that we take away the fear of unknown by discussing issues that affect us as Kenyans. So this is a symbol of patriotism. I echo you and thank you for this setting time apart to come so that we can reason together. Mine is not actually a question, but mine is to speak to two of my brothers here, Roba and Simbanetai. Allow me to say to them in my language, Bwairire, Roba na Simbanetai, Wairire. You see, they have understood what I've said, and the Constitution in its wisdom says that it acknowledges the diversity of our diversity. And that's the preamble of the Constitution. I think sometimes we could be having a point, but because already we are charged and we are upset in our minds, it would be difficult to agree. I think what Mzalendo was saying, Roba, particularly, from one point, I see where you disagree with him. I totally want to agree that if there are people who are very loyal and people who are very good citizens of Kenya are the Kisis. Why do I say that? It is because the Kisi community, because they are all over the country, they have invested everywhere. They have always been very keen when it comes to voting. That is why we vote equally. We try to give either 49, 51, either 45, 55. Also, we at least try to balance, and we have been very, very liberal in our voting. Now, one thing that I wanted to put across, and that Mzalendo mentioned loosely, is that in life, when humans are threatened, they tend to go back and regroup themselves according to their identities. So when an example I think Mzalendo gave, when our brother Matiang'i was threatened, we saw as a community came in and regrouped up behind him. Of course, there were people who disagreed with that, but they said, "Oyonoyo ito, oyono mwano ito. This is our son." And then this is what happened when during the Kibaki time, during the Uhuru time, the Kalenjins think like that, the Luos think like that. It is normal to be like that. But the problem is Kenyans have always lived in peace. Out of the 43 tribes, we have always found a way that we coexist despite the fact that we have different cultural differences or the way we relate and tribal differences. But it trickles down. And my brothers Simbaneta and Roba can agree that right now, or in the recent past, we had this problem in Kisii, where it trickled down to clanism, where Omogetutu and Omonchari, Omobasi, and people started identifying themselves from where they come from when you trickle down to clans. Now, I'm giving this background so that we can understand that our problem does not lie in our tribes. Our problem is how we use our tribes in oppressing others. I don't think we have a problem as a Kisii, as Luos. We have lived as neighbors. We have certain disagreement, but we have always found a way to live together in harmony. The clip that was played a while ago, I mean, I saw lifeless bodies there, and this is dates back to 2007. People killed, we lost and Kisis were affected. Some lost their properties. Kikuyus were burnt, by Kalenjin. Some Kalenjins were killed as well, and in the process there were casualties. The two people who were there, again, someone said today they are the ones who are in one team. Someone said today they are the very same people who are fighting. My question, I listened to Farah Mahalim when he was interviewed by Al Jazeera. He said one thing: I still belong to my coalition, but I still have my loyalty to my country. And that's what I would say to all of us. Despite the fact of our political inclination, let us have our loyalty to our country. When we have our loyalty to our country and not to individuals, it will help us to make sober decisions, because then we do not have to believe on individuals. The truth is, Ruto is not clean in this. And at the same time, Raila is as well not clean in this. These people have had opportunity to be in the government, both of them. We expect that when they were in the government, they would have made decisions, put systems in place that will act as safeguards that will favor them or work against them. But in actual sense, they have lived with hope that one day, when this system that is there, that will work in their favor. Let me stop there by saying this: we are brothers and sisters. We are sharply divided now because of coalitions. There are coalitions, there's pre and post coalitions. We have seen that pre-coalition people, they come together and they win election. The truth is, electoral injustice cannot come because of some issues here, unless all of us agree and put systems that are accountable and verifiable. My brother Roba, the Kikuyus are 8.1 million. Kalenjins are 6.5 million. Luos are 4-point-something million. Luyas are 5-point-something million. Those are rough estimates. Tell me as Kikuyus, as Kisis who have only two counties, we probably are not even 4 million. We are 2.5 or 3 point something million. It will be very difficult unless we change our constitution to say that every election year, this election year must go to a certain tribe. And then that means every tribe must wait 43 years or 42 years for it to become a president, to have a presidential representative from there. This is where we have the problem. And also allow us to say, personally as Mr. LM, I've never been the president of the Republic of Kenya, but the country moves on. Allow us also to agree that it doesn't have to be Ruto it doesn't have to be Ruto to be the president of the Republic of Kenya for us to succeed. Someone else can be the president and we can succeed. These few individuals who have mastered to manipulate some tribes to come in favor and fought in a pattern that favors them are misleading our country. Allow us to have an open system where anyone
Mr. Before you proceed,
and be elected as a president without necessarily coming from a certain tribe.
Let me ask you a question. You know, so far you have not told me where Raila is wrong. That's what I've been waiting for you to tell me. What has he done wrong at this point? Where the constitution, before the constitution, tell me point 1, 2, 3.
My brother Roba, people have died. People have died in the quest of Raila becoming the president of the Republic of Kenya.
I'm talking about the crisis right now we are at this point.
Yeah, we cannot turn a blind eye to that. But also, Raila has had the opportunity and a privilege that he would have made things right so that they could work in his favor, so that we can have systems that are accountable, transparent, accountable, and verifiable, so that if people truly are voting in favor, which they are voting for Raila, then nobody should use a technicality or a system to rig him out. When he was with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, it is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta that said his choice of a leader is Uhuru Muigai, is Raila Amolo Odinga.
Who was the vice president of Kenya by that time?
He would have said.
No, who was the vice president?
At the time, Raila Amolo Odinga was in good books with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta than Ruto and Uhuru. Uhuru actually called Ruto Tangatanga. That is how the word the Tangatanga came up. And Uhuru opted to work with Raila for the sanity and sobriety of our country. This was a perfect opportunity to say, my brother Raila, Uhuru, can we even postpone the election of this year so that we can sanitize the electoral body, so that we can have fair and credible elections? But somehow he also did not fight for that worked against him. So we cannot turn a blind eye to that and continue having our people dying, my brother Robert. That is all I'm advocating. I'm advocating for a peaceful Kenya, so where you can have a fair and free movement or also exercise the constitution.
Okay, let me answer your question because you pointed at me and the Simbayeta. Yeah? Musarela, give me a chance. First of all, we talked about people because you saw that tape from 2007, and I agree with you. A lot of people died that time. But according to me, I was there. I was in Kisumu, like I told you before, and I saw how Kisi people, more especially around in the Masaria, we lost a lot of properties. They were destroyed, but we never avenged. But the good news is nobody was killed. Same thing when the same night, same week, I got to Kisi town. We had our people. That's why we had the Kikuyus who are being brought from all over Nyanza. Some people left for Kisii because Kisii was peaceful. Nobody died. But people who came from around Kericho, around Sotigi, they were slaughtered like goats. So I don't see why whenever, I don't see how Raila comes in here. On your point, when you say people died. On this, what's happening right now, or the crisis we have right now. So how do you bring, like, on a constitution from 2010 constitution, people have a right to demonstrate, and that's what they're doing. And in fact, to tell you the truth, they have been doing it peacefully. And the people who have been problem here are the police and the current government, who I think they are incapable. They are not even ready to take the government, because at this point, if I was them, if I was them, I could want to do my own things. Even if they demonstrate, I tell them, you know what, police will be with them, demonstrate. Once you go at the end of the day, every day. But to come there, Munasa could be a kifua. They came in after either Mambayako who was shot in. The following day, the following week, the day after, up to now, they never went to govern the country. Instead, they went back to be candidates. And that's where we have this crisis. And at this point, I blame the current government for what's going on. Thank you.
Can I ask my question to Mzalendo?
I think Jax has left, and I'm stepping in to moderate. So go ahead.
I'm still here, Bado's Jenda, but endelea tu.
Oh, you are. Okay, great. I thought you're gone. Okay, go ahead.
Mzalendo, kuna vitu ambazo umeongea hapo, kuna mingi nimekubaliana na wewe, na kuna chache ambayo mimi niko na kind of like tunatofautiana tu kidogo, kwa sababu unaongea kuhusu demokrasia ya Kenya aswa katika vyama. Ukiangalia vyama zote zenye ziko Kenya saizi, sasa naweza ongea katika karibu makabila matatu sana. Tunaongea Kalenjin, tunaongea kabila ya Wajaluo na tukuje Kikuyu. Kwa sababu sana hizo ndio makabila ambazo sana huwa zinakuaga hapo mbele. Na ukiangalia demokrasia kulingana na mapati, like mavyama ambao zimekita kambi kwa hizo maeneo, demokrasia zao ni chache sana. Na ukitaka kutoa mfano sana katika ODM, vitu ambazo zinafanya